verge of chaos right now because of these simple things that are happening all across the world that are impacting us in our country.
No, absolutely, I agree. I think. Sorry, I'm just working on a camera issue, so you're good. Still, we're just trying to fix our camera, so I'm a little distracted.
Hey, is Mike there?
No, I don't see Mike.
I'm just curious. When cameras get sideways, he's normally there.
Oh yeah, maybe he's like waiting outside or something. I don't know. But anyway, sorry. Continue, and then I'll catch up with you.
So when we say that, we'll kind of transition to something that's. I don't know how these kids are going to go to school without being fearful. Because last week there was 2 people, young Jewish couple in Washington, D.C. that got murdered. Just unannounced, unexpected. But having people walk around in our country with that thought process, willing to just kill people, is a bad deal. And then we have the issue of all of the brown people walking around in our country who fear just because they're brown, they're going to get arrested and deported.
Mm-hmm.
That issue, we've talked about it for quite a while now, but it's elevated quite, it's heightened greatly in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Just last week, there was a job site in Tallahassee, Florida, that had over 165 people on it. The Florida State Troopers, the IRS, and ICE all showed up on that job.
Mm-hmm.
There was 135 people apprehended out of 165.
Sorry, say the numbers again. Say the numbers real quick.
Excuse me?
Say the numbers again real quick, please.
135 apprehended.
Okay.
165 on the job site.
Okay, so almost all of them.
Yeah, almost all of them. So they showed up with the proper warrants and all of the correct, everything that they needed to do to be there properly.
Yeah.
But when they showed up, chaos ensued. It wasn't an organized, people got thrown to the ground, handcuffed. And what's going to happen when ICE detains people who are actual legal citizens, but they're still brown? The brown gives them away, but then they get arrested without any proper anything until they get downtown or wherever they get taken.
Yeah, I know that, I think in Florida, for example, Ron DeSantis essentially said, hey, we're going to give ICE leeway in profiling, so to say. So that way they can do that, which essentially, like, if they see someone that they assume is illegal or might be legal, they are allowed to detain them until they can figure it out. Now, granted, I feel like if that's the case, let's say someone's driving down and they get detained by ICE, it should be a pretty quick process to say, hey, listen, here's my ID, here's all this, I am a citizen. So it doesn't have to go too far. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to go back to the solution of how we can solve the problem. Because, yes, we all agree that we have illegal people in this country. They broke the law. They are here illegally. So, when a situation like this arises, the Highway Patrol shows up, ICE shows up, they're all taken to the detention center. They get processed. You fingerprint them. You take a picture of them. If they have no warrant and they have been here working, put them in a system to where they have to report once every 30 days via technology, an app. You should be able to go on there, take a picture, leave a video message, whether it's in English or Spanish. This is where I am. This is what I'm doing. Because the mindset of getting rid of 20 million people who are illegal is mind-blowing, and it's not comprehensible, and this country will fail if you took all 20 million of those people out of here right now. There's not going to be anybody to build. There's not going to be anybody to do agricultural labor. There's not going to be anybody cleaning hotel rooms. There's not going to be anybody doing the back half of restaurants. So give America a chance to let these people continue to be a part of our country. Think about it, 20 million people, they all get kicked out. They're living somewhere right now. They're paying rent. So if all of those places became vacant, what happens then? It's an evil circle.
Rent goes down.
No, I doubt rent goes down, but that's a good thought. Rent will go up where you live.
Rent always goes up where we live. So, I mean,
The reason rent's going to go up there is because they can't afford the landscapers, because they're going to have to hire optimists from Elon Musk to cut your grass.
oh yeah, well in my instance it's an HOA, which I think I should demolish. But yeah, the HOA fees would go up. No rent here, fortunately. But for some people that live here, maybe.
So the scenario is going to be, there needs to be a solution instead of a one-stop, everybody's got to go.
Mhm.
I don't think that's the answer. And unfortunately, JB and the administration that we have right now believes that's the way it needs to go. If you're here illegally, you need to go home.
Thoughts?
Correct, JB?
I mean, we all voted for it, so.
The consequences of our actions. No.
Every action has an equal or greater reaction. But I was asked this yesterday, what would have happened if Kamala Harris would have won? And it would be 10 times worse because crime would be higher. The illegals would continue to come into the country. It actually would drive the hourly wage down because the competition would be greater. So I think we got the right person in the office. I agree with Elon Musk about this big, beautiful bill. Everybody has the ability to agree and disagree.
Yeah.
You can still like each other, whether you agree or disagree. So, Trump, Elon, they still like each other. Elon thinks Trump's bill is a piece of shit. But the media is doing anything and everything they can to escalate a division between the two of them.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and they've been doing that for a while too. Anytime there's like a slight disagreement or just a comment that comes out, it's like, oh, this is the beginning of the Elon Trump relationship breaking apart. So
They did the exact same thing when Trump was not in office for the past 4 years with Ron DeSantis and Trump. But the same game they always play.
So, the bromance, we're in a position to where we need smart people doing smart things and making decisions that ultimately help the country.
yeah, we don't have a
Because
lot of
this
smart
country is
people
very
doing
vulnerable.
anything right now in office.
Excuse me?
We don't have a lot of smart people in office right now.
No, not at all. With hurricane season coming on,
Yeah.
we still haven't recovered from the hurricanes last year.
Mm-hmm.
You go to those areas that were impacted, they're still decimated. So what happens this year when hurricanes come and the cuts have been made to FEMA, is there a proper chain of command that can successfully respond to the disasters that are going to happen?
I think that the response we would see this time around would actually be like 10 times greater than what we saw last year. Even though we've seen, like you said, there's been cuts to FEMA, there's been cuts here. I do think that, especially Trump himself, has tried to figure out different ways on how to make things actually happen, how to respond appropriately. Because I think in his eyes, the issue was FEMA itself, a corrupt organization that really wasn't there to do the job they say they're supposed to be doing. So he's coming at this from a different angle and saying, listen, we got to get new people in here. We got to get the fraud out of here, get the corruption out of here to make sure that FEMA or anything that replaces it does act accordingly and responds accordingly.
I always thought it'd be interesting if we move FEMA to the states, where the states can get federal funding if they wanted to, but states support themselves, and bordering states can help contribute and help out locally.
Well, let me ask you this, JB. I agree. I think the states should have the ability to operate and control the situations that happen in their state. But then we'll use California as an example. They had the wildfires. They were not properly set up to handle that situation, whether it was a local mayor, local commissioners, the governor. Then it all falls back. Well, the president, he's not helping us.
Yeah, but they've had fires every year without Trump, with Biden. They didn't do anything when Trump was in office the first time.
I understand. But what I'm saying, regardless of what they do or don't do, there's still people out there at the mercy of the tragedy that just happened. And they're going to expect somebody to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that is a shitty governor and he can't help because he doesn't know how, or she doesn't know how. And then it's always going to go back to the federal government, and then the president at that moment, whomever it may be, is going to get blamed for the lack of response.
Yeah.
So, do you want to subject yourself that I wasn't prepared as the president? Because you can say, I want the state, I want the state, I want the state. It's no different than education. There's states that have way higher grades than other states. Ask yourself why that is. It's the towns and the cities who have continued to fail. Do you want to give them the authorization to be responsible for the safety of everybody who lives there?
The state government, you mean, or the federal government?
State government.
In my eyes, I think that generally speaking, when you look at like the states handling their own versus when the federal government comes in and tries to dictate what's going on, usually it ends up going better when the states are in control versus the government.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, gentlemen. You both are dumb.
Thanks. So we're not
Louisiana, Hurricane Katrina. Louisiana government couldn't handle that. The federal government couldn't handle that. They're still dealing with Katrina in Louisiana and New Orleans.
No one's saying you can't ask the federal government for help. What we're saying is the state should be prepared. So like the Gavin Newsom example is a clear example. He doesn't care about Californians.
Real quick, too, if the state government couldn't handle it and the federal government couldn't handle it, what do you do then?
It will blow back on the president anyways.
Correct. There's going to be certain situations where it's going to be an act of God that no one is going to be prepared to handle it, but all you can do there is to be able to support the families who've lost everything. I don't think it's always about just money. I think it's about being there with a shoulder for them to understand that they have someone that is there in a way to support them. Because it's just, we're at a point that we don't believe in each other. You can look at the rhetoric, like you got that fucking idiot from Minnesota, Tim Walz,
Oh no.
this weekend saying that he needs to go out and bully President Trump. What he needs to do is go to trade school when Trump puts the money there and learn how to mechanic on his international scout and quit being a poser and worrying about how to talk to a man. You got a Benelli shotgun out in the pheasant field. Well, you might want to learn how to operate that before you have cameras around so you don't look like a complete idiot.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of people just talking to talk. At least when the three of us speak, we're always right. But we know what the hell we're talking about.
he's just mad he lost the election, right?
He didn't. He was a.
VP runner.
Yeah, he was a VP on a boat that was worse than the damn SS Minnow in Gilligan's Island. It was destined to sink.
Yeah, if anything, he made it worse. I think he was scooping water out of the ocean and putting it into the boat.
I've never seen a grown man in my entire life clap like that guy. He looked like a seal auditioning for SeaWorld. Who in the fuck claps like that?
I think SeaWorld should look into this. I think they have a
I'm all
new
for anybody doing
talent show.
anything to continuing to make America better and keeping him in Minnesota.
Or sending him to SeaWorld. Honestly, I think that would make America so much greater, is if we took him out of his seat and put him in the pool, then he could come up and go like that. The kids would love it.
At least for a little while. Mom, Dad, who was that clown? I think that's Tim Walz. He ran for vice president. He's the governor of Minnesota. But don't worry about him. Let's go look at the Dolphins.
Yeah. Or it could be him. He could replace that mime. I don't know if you've seen the mime that stands there and he like makes fun of people as they're walking by. He could be like the new stand-in for that guy.
Well, it's just when you talk about how you talk about spending money, number one, we have to spend money to learn how to talk to men. That right there says problem right there. The Democratic Party, if they're telling you they don't know how to talk to anyone, why is it you don't know how to talk to anyone? Oh, because you're too busy telling all the girls and women that boys and men should play in your sports. I would start right there. If I were going to give any Democrat any advice about moving forward with your political career, I'd ask you the question: do you think boys or men should play in girls' sports? You answer yes, you need to go. You're not going to win. It's that simple.
Yeah,
Quit wasting $20 million.
Another way to look at it is, look at their new Democratic leader that are leaning on. The way they're trying to communicate or failure to communicate will help us keep winning elections. So it's kind of we'll win more people on our side.
I love our side, but I also love the center. I love America. I think if we have a balanced debate to keep people in the middle, it'll be better for everyone.
Real
I
quick,
don't want us to get in a position to where just take Kennedy. Look at him. He was a Democrat. Then you look at Schumer, a lifelong Democrat, won I'd go to the bar with and wouldn't mind getting in a fight with. The other one, you go to a bar with and you get in a fight, you're getting your ass kicked. Schumer, AOC, Bernie Sanders, all of these people profess to love America, but none of them have American flags there. They all have different color flags there.
You're right. I think the JFK Democratic Party's gone. You're absolutely correct.
So, what, how, and when?
Like
What's the change? Because are we saying Trump is the end all? Who's going to be next? DeSantis?
Trump.
Well, before we get into that, so
Don't start that shit, JD.
we had a couple people. We had a couple people come in later. They want to know, are we happy with this administration? Answer that how you wish.
I am very happy with this administration. The border completely sealed. The military has the highest morale that they've had in 4+ years. And the military is the key to America's success. The tariffs are working. The tariffs are bringing jobs back to the country. Are there things that I disagree with on certain scenarios? I've made my position clear on the brown people. I think there's a different way to handle it. I think if you're out there trying to kill Jews, you need to be immediately removed from this country. But that's not going to solve the problem because people have been trying to kill Jews since the beginning of time.
Yeah, I think you're right. With the Colorado story, how that individual came in who's not a citizen and protesting in America against others, especially other Americans, is crazy. It should never happen.
So where's the guardrail, JD?
I have to read more about how they got in, but I'm not sure. Did he come in recently, or was... You said extended visa, so I'm guessing they've been here for quite some time.
They'd been here, his visa had expired, and then he got a temporary work visa, actually. So I'm not sure how the system allowed him to continue to stay with his wife and family.
Yeah, you're right.
Broken system.
Yep, broken.
And here I am trying to put a suggestion together for the broken system. If you're here illegally, you have a destination to go. You can turn yourself in. Because I look at it like this. If you're here illegally, or you murdered someone, all right? Here illegally is a parking ticket. Murdering someone is a death sentence. I don't think I'm all for, if you do this, you need to be punished to the maximum allowed by law. But being in this country illegal, how you got here, whether you swam the river, paid the coyote, it's a parking ticket. Figure out a way to solve the parking ticket.
Yeah.
I think the punishment is too great for the parking ticket.
You say that, but this person that was an American citizen got an extended visa, and then he went off attacking people. So we have to figure out this broken system and vet people properly, right?
That's part of what I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah.
When you go turn yourself in,
Yeah.
you are fingerprinting yourself. Man,
Self-documented.
we have so many, the ability to create an app. All right, I am an illegal alien. I am an illegal brown person right now. I want to create an app tonight, IVP, illegal brown person. I have to turn myself in tomorrow. I have to register for the IVP. I have to check in once a week on the IVP. I have to put in there that I made money that week. I have to put in however we can do it to control the situation without completely disrupting families, hurting the construction industry, hurting the hospitality industry, the agriculture industry. There's got to be a way other than saying this is one fix for all.
Right. So essentially, it's like documenting them.
I want to figure out a way how to help people.
No, of course. In a perfect world, we'd have people come here that need help and are willing to contribute to this country, and no bad people will come. But unfortunately, we live in a time where everyone wants to come here, and some of them have good intentions, some have bad intentions. And the way I see it is, like, for the longest time, you could go visit another city or another village or whatever, and the people there, the guards or whoever is running that place, would be like, all right, what are you doing here? Do you have business here? Are you visiting someone? How long are you staying? That's been a thing for so long.
Just like when we travel internationally.
Right, but I'm saying just for all the time. And then it's like, all right, well, how long do you plan on staying? Well, I'm just here for a few days and visiting someone, or I'm doing business here and then I'm leaving in a week. Okay, cool. But then you start hanging out there a little too long, and it's like, well, what are you doing here? Then actions or consequences come from those actions. I think the problem that we've had is we've allowed so many people to come in that we weren't able to keep track of. And now we're in a position where it's like, we have these people that are here that are working, okay, but we have all these people over here that are taking advantage of the system, or they're going and committing crimes on top of coming in here. So it's that I just kind of like, that's the whole reason why we're in this position now, and why it's such a difficult situation to handle. And I think that your idea is great. I think that it is something we could look to do. I'm not against it at all. I'm just trying to kind of just, relate to the audience and stuff, how difficult.
I'm going to agree with both of you. You have a choice. If you're here illegally, you can join the IBP app, and if you choose not to, and you get apprehended, and you're not in that system, you immediately get deported.
Yeah. So you're kind of describing like a second
everyone
chance.
Everyone has an opportunity if we do this properly. Here you go. You get to do this one time. If you fuck around and don't do it, and you get caught, shame on you. You're going home.
Yeah.
And you're not coming back. Because it goes back. If you murder someone, we spend way too much money, way too many years for court. If you started putting people in a public situation and beheaded them, guess what would stop?
Crime.
Murder. That's where I'm at. So I'm trying to be compassionate with the IDP.
And I think Trump is there too. It's like, listen, if you're here illegally, that's it. You're done. And I think it's kind of what you talked about before. The strong reaction to what's been happening is, in his eyes, necessary to stop it once and for all, or at least for a long time.
From progressing.
until
someone else comes in and messes it up again.
Because, like JD was saying, when you we're the only country in the world that has actually been invaded for the past 30 years. You can't go to a country in Central America and fly in there and think you're going to stay there for an extended period of time. Like you were saying, Gonzo, you land, there's an armed guard checking your passport. Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
How long are you
You didn't pay for the visa. Now it's going to cost you an extra $100.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go from here in my IDP program that I believe would work with technology to the vulnerability of what the open border has actually done to our country. I don't know if either one of you saw what happened in Russia this weekend, where Ukraine actually infiltrated Russia, took drones, and attacked their military bases.
Right.
Destroyed over $20 billion worth of, essentially, it's the balance of our B-2 bombers.
Mm-hmm.
And they managed to do that for $25, $50 drones. So think about earlier this spring when we had all of the drones over New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could answer the question why they were there, how they were there, what can we do about it. And all of the military bases that were up in that region, that they're not prepared or have the authority to do anything. So right now, over in Tampa, if someone were to hypothetically take 500 drones and fly them in there to Andrews Air Force Base, the damage that they could do, because there's nobody there waiting and having the ability to respond to eliminate that problem. And that's the same thing with every military base across this country. Because we're not prepared to be attacked from within.
I don't necessarily agree. I think that I think that's actually the opposite. I do think that our military bases are relatively prepared for hypotheticals like that. Like, so you're saying that could happen to us, meaning like a few of us could go over there with drones and sneak them in there and take over?
I'm thinking this is a scenario. I'm thinking we can go to the front gate. We're going to get turned away. I'm thinking we can go around the perimeter. We're not getting in. But I'm thinking that a swarm of drones could easily fly in military bases across this country undetected and do astronomical amount of damage.
I definitely think
the radar isn't picking them up, number one. I did some research on this because I knew I wanted to talk about it today. You can take 500 of them and program them all the same to where you only have to have one operator that can fly all of them at the same time. All you have to do is give them a coordinate, and they go there, and they destroy shit. You don't even have to have bombs. You can have it set up to where it flies into the engine of one of those planes.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that I don't believe there's people sitting on the United States bases that are sitting there ready and prepared to defend something like that.
I don't know. I'm not too well versed on it, but I would imagine that the U.S. military is actually, I mean, part of we're not at war currently. Part of the whole deal is like prepare for potential situations that could happen, whether it's afar or here at home. And I mean, I know that they run simulations all the time for every different type of situation that could happen. So I don't think they're just sitting there going, well, hopefully this doesn't happen. I'm sure that they have.
Here's where I'm going to agree with you. They're prepared to see something on a radar coming into this country, whether it's a missile, plane, to where they have the ability. There's people on staff, on standby, ready to run to their jets. Get in their jet, take off, be in the air within seconds/minutes, ready to go. I have no doubt about that. But I don't believe they're prepared for the simplest attack.
I think the military bases are really well equipped, but they're not going to let you know on the news everything they have as protection because it gives everything away.
No, yeah.
Well, fortunately for me, right here, where I sit right now, I'm within 5 military bases. And I can almost guarantee you there is nobody sitting there waiting to get attacked by fucking drones.
I feel like Crocker, I feel like they literally have people there for this exact reason, to make sure that the base doesn't get attacked. They're not just going to be like, all right, well, let's make sure no one's walking up there. They're prepared for stuff like this. They have ways to scan the area, make sure that there are that you're not supposed, anyone that's not supposed to be there isn't there. So I don't believe that they're just sitting there going, oh, I'm ready to jump in this plane in case we have to fly somewhere, or I hope no one walks up to the front gate and shoots me. I think that they are prepared for a lot of hypothetical situations that you could come up with.
All right. Now we're going to go to Norfolk, Virginia, where you can look over there and you can see aircraft carrier. You can see all of the ships that we have. There is no way possible, if someone wanted to take something and fly it into one of those ships to get it knocked down quick enough. I don't know the technology. I think that there has to be a way to be able to take the drone and stop it from functioning.
Well,
Like
if the White House has the capability of turning off a car that's driving towards the White House, this was happened while Obama was president. If they have the capability to shut a car down while it is driving, I'm confident they have the ability to turn off a few drones in the sky. Confident.
Go back to New Jersey. Why didn't we do that? Why do we not know what that was yet?
So, okay, I'm still convinced that we did know what was going on. They just didn't want to tell us. And also, they really weren't doing anything at that time. And again, they're like, well, they could be civilians, they could be spying on us, we don't really know. And two, it's scattered throughout New Jersey. It's not like at the White House or at a military base, because if they were anywhere close to these important buildings, they probably would shut them down or shoot them down or do whatever. But if it's over my house, the government doesn't give a crap about me. They're not going to come down and be like, hey, there's a drone over your house, we took care of it for you. That's up to me, maybe, if I'm allowed to do that. Yeah. But no, yeah, so do they have the capability of shutting down 1,000 drones scattered throughout New Jersey? I don't know. Maybe if they really wanted to, they could. But it's two completely different situations.
Well, what happened in Russia? The Ukrainians took the most unsophisticated situation, and they went through multiple time zones, attacked multiple different locations, undetected. And Russia supposedly has the same great technology that we do. So ask yourself why that happened.
Well, real quickly, too, I think it's crazy that every time there's a headline that says Ukraine wants peace, something happens like the very next day, which is absolutely insane.
The opposite.
And I don't know exactly what happened and how it transpired. Again, I think that this whole war has essentially been like a big farce from the beginning. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know exactly what happened and how they were able to pull it off, or if it was allowed to happen. But again, too, these are two countries that have been supposedly at war for over 4 years now. So maybe Russia their defense is not as strong as it was 4 years ago. So maybe the Ukrainians were able to find a way to pull that off, because both sides are weak now. It's just funny to me that recently too, it seems that Ukraine has been continuously trying to poke the bear, no pun intended.
And also, 2 weeks ago we talked about the Golden Dome But you didn't really like that idea, right? I mean, that's another idea he proposed, bring a Golden Dome here, similar to what Israel has for air defense locally.
I love the idea of the Golden Dome. The problem is the Golden Dome can't do anything about people who are here who are going to do things. But if something's coming from China, Russia, yeah, that'll work beautifully. But if you've got the same guy that's out in Colorado trying to kill and burn up Jews, who has that same animosity towards the three of us and all of us as Americans, who is determined to create misery, death, chaos, how are we prepared for him?
Well, that's why he's being deported. That's what Trump is trying to slowly fix over time, right? To strongly vet those who are coming in.
But too, I mean, like, yeah, again, it's like the Golden Dome, of course, that's not going to be for the one guy that's currently here that's going to go shoot up a place or...
But it's more added protection than we have now.
It's different situations. I mean, that's something for local officials to deal with. Or maybe even, you know, like, for example, the FBI knew about the shooter down here in Florida. I can't think of his name right now. So maybe the local law enforcement or local federal officials were not doing their job to investigate this person. Maybe they didn't even know about him. It happens. So that's why the whole defense from the beginning, whether it's the border or whatever, is so important, because all these people were allowed to come in. We don't know who's here now. And I think part of the reason why Trump is actively trying to deport as many people as he can is because, like, listen, we don't know who's here. We don't know if we can trust you. It's safer if we just get rid of as many people as we can. And then if they want to come back later and they're good people, we'll allow it.
All right. In the Arabic countries, if a husband or someone like that is killed by someone, a member of their family, wife, brother, son, becomes more enamored with creating chaos. So the people who are getting deported and they have relatives that are still here, what's going to prevent them from having and have developed the anger and the hatred towards America? I'm doing everything I can right here, guys, to find a fucking kumbaya moment. Help me find the IDP app. Anything, because I see another 9/11 happening in this country. Within this country. From within. Not airplanes flying in, but someone, just like the Atlanta bombing. I just think there's too many crazy people out there who hate the three of our happiness and don't want to see America succeed. And I want to find a way to prevent it, to stop it, and find a balance. And I don't know what that is.
Well, unfortunately, when we're at war, we have to go through war in order to gain peace. We have to act accordingly. We can't be at war and say, please be nice to us. We have to show them force. So if there's people here that have been coming in this country for years and years and years, we've been talking about it for so long, so many people have been talking about it. These people are coming in, we don't know who they are, and people are saying maybe they're, like you said, maybe another 9/11 will happen, maybe another terrorist attack will happen. Unfortunately, it's too late for the kumbaya thing. We have to go to war and get these people out of here, which is why Ron DeSantis and a few other governors are okay with ICE saying, hey, you are allowed to be a little more flexible with detaining these people if you think something's shady, because we are at war. It's not full out war. We're shooting each other in the streets, but there are people
from within, essentially.
Exactly. There's people coming here that want to hurt us. Like you said, you acknowledged it. So unfortunately, we have to put our feelings aside and say, listen, we got to get these people out of here. We got to take care of
I'm
us.
sensitive all of a sudden.
Yes.
I wouldn't think anybody would describe me as sensitive, but I just want to find a way to protect you, JB, myself, and all of our families from the crazy people. And I don't see 98% of the brown people here wanting to hurt any of the three of us. I see more people on college campuses that their families are well off wanting to kill Jews more than I do anything else. And I feel in fear that those are the people that are going to be more apt to hurt us and our families.
That's fine. We can get rid of them too.
I'm all for that. I'll help.
At the end of the day, Crocker, the Second Amendment is still a thing. I hope. I heard it was. So that's how I
And
I'll
the
be
First
fine.
Amendment
I'll be
is
okay.
reserved for citizens, right? Constitutional rights.
Actually, all the words are.
Well, yeah, I'm
The
just saying.
Constitution is set up for the people who are citizens of the United States
Exactly.
of America.
Yes.
If you're from BFE Arab, no, it's not set up for you. So, in saying everything that we've said tonight, JB, give me a solution.
Well, I guess we all agree on people could use the app to self-document themselves and get that work visa going. But I think the onboarding process is what you want to solve, right? But you also want to make sure and prevent people who aren't citizens to protest and hurt other people who are citizens in America.
You know what would be really good tonight, Gonzo? Is if we were sitting at the vineyard, having a beverage, having some Acapulco nachos, just having a wonderful conversation. If you're ever in the greater Orlando area, please go visit the vineyard. Ask for Mr. Jones, Dan, Mike, Lauren. If you're lucky enough, Tiny might be there. And great staff, great food. Chef Liz will never disappoint you. And just make sure if you're ever in that area, go check out the vineyard.
Absolutely.
All right, Gonzo, what you want to get off your ship this week, other than your wife?
She can stay on for now. But, no, I mean, I got a lot off my ship today, actually. I did an oil change we were putting off, and I had to replace a battery, too, in another vehicle. So a lot happened today, So I would say that I already got the problems off my ship before we had the show.
JB?
I want to personally do more.
Hold on. Have you drank any of our sponsor's product tonight?
Yes. 3, now 4.
I know you have. I can see that. I'm asking JB.
Not right now. I haven't eaten anything yet, so.
So you eating is preventing from supporting our sponsor?
Him not eating.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Not eating.
Are you supporting our sponsor
Are
currently?
you drinking over there?
That's beer.
That's
don't lie to me.
water. We know that's water.
Count on that.
We hear the ice. We know it's water.
Pretty sure it's not water.
Uh,
But we'll go with water tonight.
But back to what you were saying before, I mean, I think increasing our security with the Golden Dome, vetting people properly, but we also need to look into this drone thing. I want to do some more research about this Ukraine-Russia thing, but I think we are pretty protected at home, but we definitely need the Golden Dome long term.
I'm going to give my advice tonight that anybody that has a white van, go to a graphics place tomorrow, buy Verizon stickers, and put on it. And I'm pretty sure that you'll have a better chance of surviving for another day.
Maybe. I don't know. Some people really hate Verizon, so.
Verizon, Spectrum, you pick the entity, but don't drive a naked white van and you might have a better chance to succeed and not get arrested. But what I want to get off my ship this week and tonight is hatred.
Yeah.
Blatant hatred. Take the time to self-reflect, look in the mirror, and if you're a shitty person and you're a bad person, don't take it out on anybody else. Take yourself to wherever you came from, and instead of killing anybody else, look in the mirror and decide if you're the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hurt innocent people.
That's right.
Period. That's what I want off my ship. Shitty people.
Amen to that.
Well, Gonzo, JB, I hope I didn't disappoint you.
No.
No.
Only a little bit. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
Great talking to you as always.
hey, I appreciate you guys. Thank our sponsors. Thank the Cigar guys. We haven't talked about you tonight.
We're always talking
Any
about
products
us.
coming out?
Maybe we'll tell you next week. I don't know, but yeah, of course, the Cigar guys are here. We appreciate Branch and Barrel, Blackheart Gear, all of our wonderful supporters. And again, we appreciate you as well. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated every time we upload new episodes. And until next week, take care.
Have a good night.